just ticking into the 6th minute when the Yellows hit their first winner. It won't make goal of the season, that's for sure. But scorer Steve Basham and his teammates aren't complaining. They'd have settled for a draw before kick-off. Now they want to win them all.
It's a great start to the season. It's good to get off to like a winning start and get 3 points, especially against Lincoln as we did so well last year. No, it was great.
One match doesn't make a season, but it makes a big difference getting off to a winning start.
No, definitely, yeah, definitely. To get like the pre-season about and then get a win first game, that was brilliant. It was, all the lads are really upbeat and all the coaching staff and everything. So we look to build on that and have a good season hopefully.
Swindon Town are also through to the second round after winning at Southend, but Cheltenham fell at home to Queen Parks Rangers. Tim Russell reports.
2 games, 2 wins. It's too good to be true. For Oxford United, it's what you call a dream start. Nobody gave them a chance at First Division Millwall, but they won it fair and square to stake their claim as the first giant killers of the new season. The hero once again was Steve Basham. 2 games, 2 winners. It wasn't a fluke. The Yellows could have won by more. Roll on, round 2.
Lining up for Oxford at Scunthorpe tomorrow. They're doing pretty well without him, but he hopes he'll be back, bashing in a few like this very soon.
Scunthorpe away, never a holiday, never easy, but United got a penalty. Holding in the box, said the ref, and skipper Andy Crosby blasted them in front. The Yellows were given the runaround in the second half though, and 1-1, if not the right result, was certainly the fair one. United would have probably settled for a draw against top of the table Swansea too. With 5 minutes to go it was 0-0, but then they hit the goal button. An obvious penalty gave Crosby, the man that never misses, the chance to make another hit. And from then on for United fans it was just make-believe. Julian Alsop ran in to knock home his first goal. And then sub Mark Rawle ran on to score with his very first touch. The Yellows made it look easy. And then, when you've rubbed your eyes, just take a look at this, the top of the 3rd Division. Yes, I know there's only 4 games gone and it's early days, but...
Early days or not, what you do is you get your points on the board. And you've got 10 points. You need another probably 65 to get automatic promotion. But to get 10 points as early as this against the teams that we've played is brilliant. Because, as I said before, other teams have got people like Swansea to play and they've improved immensely with the players they've got. Scunthorpe ain't easy, Lincoln away and Hull City at home. We can't have wished for a better start.
Stadium came in the last 10 minutes. Mark Rawle screamer put Oxford in front. And Kidderminster was staring at a 3rd defeat on the trot. It was a magnificent goal from Rawle. But in the end, it should have been a home win. Adam Willis levelled just 2 minutes later after excellent work from Bo Henriksen.
A great start. York also on 12 points.
An absolute beauty because this starts off a million miles outside the goal and then bends back into that top corner.
Fantastic. Oxford have started well.
Decent strike sharp, yeah?
Fantastic that.
Right foot.
Just like your right foot.
Yeah, doesn't know anything about that. Okay then.
Than never. It all happened in the last 10 minutes at Agborough. Super skill from sub Mark Rawle, and Oxford were looking good for the 3 points. Back came Kidderminster 3 minutes later to equalise. No marks for artistic merit. Adam Willis rounding off a scrappy move. But Harriers, with 4 regulars dropped from the side, could and should have collected all 3 points. Striker Bo Henriksen bundled off the ball by Oxford skipper Andy Crosby. The ponytailed one took the spot kick, but then rather wished he hadn't.
Dexter Blackstock, reckoned to be a star of the future, has been sold to Southampton for £200,000. If he does well, the Yellows could bag another £400,000 and all.
Unbeaten top of the league, life is rosy for Ian Atkins and his side. Steve Basham started the ball rolling midway through the first half. After that, no doubts about the outcome. Southend failed to clear here. Paul Wanless punished them with a real cracker.
Oxford have got a great record in home games against Mansfield, but when Paul Wanless scored for the second Saturday running, it wasn't the winning goal. The Stags avoided an 8th defeat in 9 visits to Oxford when Neil Mackenzie popped up with an equaliser and an unimpressive goal celebration. Oxford won, Mansfield won.
Team in the Football League after their derby with Cheltenham finished goalless.
And good news in the second division. Swindon Town are up to 4th after their win at Grimsby. Even. Tim Ruston reports.
Empty of goals, full of action. As derbies go, it wasn't a classic, but they were racing right to the end. Oxford should have been up at half-time and possibly would have won it if not for 2 brilliant saves from Shane Higgs. The Robins had a flutter in attack. But the best of the chances fell at the feet of the Yellows. There was the ritual derby punch-up. Mike Duff got sent off, but on the whistle they all shook hands and finished the best of friends.
There's not many people going to come here and win. That's one thing, because they are just a side that's just got relegated, so they've got good players in here as well, and they've just started to get the momentum going a little bit.
Oxford are very strong physically and mentally, understand their system, they play it well.
That's as good a performance as we've put in this season, especially away from home. So you're delighted with that.
Happy with the point?
No, you're never happy with a point.
Swindon.
It was a hell of a game. You know, the pace of the game for the 3rd division was terrific, and it was non-stop all night. But we had all the chances. Cheltenham had those that whizzed across the face of the goal, but we actually had shots on target where Andy Woodland didn't have a shot to save. So on that score, we're a little bit disappointed, but obviously pleased to keep the run going, and you took a point.
What did you make of the Dean Whitehead incident in the end?
I think in the end of the day, the lad had to get booked because Dean had gone round him. It was just basically cynical. There was such a melee afterwards that I didn't really realise what had happened. Someone said there was a punch thrown, and someone said he was trying to be a headbutt. So, I mean, at the end of the day, lad Duff's a good player, and it's not like him to do things like that anyway. Obviously, the linesman seen something, else he wouldn't have informed the referee.
Doncaster this weekend, obviously promoted from the conference end of last season. Thoughts on how they've done so far this season?
They've done well. I mean, like any promoted side, I think your momentum takes you forward, and it can take you forward till November. Then suddenly people suss you out, and then you've got to adjust. And are you good enough to stay in the division or sustain what you've achieved previously? They've had a good start. I mean, they went to Leighton Orient, won, beat Grimsby at home, beat Southend at home. Then they just lost a couple by the odd goal, Northampton's, and they lost again the other night, 1-0 to the Oval. They haven't conceded many, but they haven't scored many either, so it's always difficult to go down there. Northern club as well, big pitch as well, so they'll be up for it. I mean, Oxford for Doncaster will be a big scalp.
A different sort of game though, obviously, to the Hulls and the Swans as you played in the last few weeks.
Probably it'd be similar to, I would have thought, to the Cheltenham. Probably not as brutal, but at the same token, you've got to go and combat it, and we combated it well against Lincoln. We've done it well against Cheltenham. Now we've got to go and do it again against Doncaster if they start slinging that ball forward to Biglio Fortunist.
Now, Dave Penny, their manager, reported to be trying to get a few new signings into the club. Is that something you can sympathise with? Because obviously last season you were trying to sort of freshen things up and get new players in yourself. Third division kind of important this stage of the season.
It can, I think it is, but I think the chairman of Doncaster does a massive pattern about Mr. Ryan, so I do know him, and he has give Dave an awful lot of which to play with. But I think, as I said before, Dave will know straight away how far he can take Doncaster, and out of a lot of those players that have got them promoted. He'll see on after 6 or 7 games whether they can go any further. That's the time then that you've got to strengthen. Rushton did it 3 years ago. I think Brian Talbot realised after the first 6 games at Isle of Minute that it was a tough division. It wasn't as easy as what people think, and there is a gulf between the conference and the third. I don't keep what people say over 46 games. Brian did it. He had to change his whole team around. Spent an awful lot of money in wages to do it, and then they've got the rewards by getting promoted to the second division 3 years later. Dave will obviously know that in his own mind now by seeing what he's actually got, whether how far they can go, and whether the chairman will let him strengthen that. That's the big thing.
Scored in the league up at Doncaster. They were outfought in the 2-0 defeat, their first loss of the season. Manager Ian Atkins has ordered more hard work from his players if they want promotion. But they'll be without striker Julian Alsop for a while. He was sent off for an elbow. Our cameraman missed it, but the referee didn't. He's been given a 4-match ban.
Here's the action. Sulako's first goal of the season came 7 minutes after the break. Came off his thigh after good work from Nicky Forster. All the goals coming in the second half. Forster made it 2 on 66 minutes with his 5th of the season. Oxford United pulled one back through substitute Jefferson Louis. His first game for Oxford this season following his return from a loan spell at conference side Woking, but it was to no avail in the end. James Harper, who'd set up Reading's second goal, then made sure of the win in the last minute of the game. Neat finish, 3-1 it finished. Reading go through to the 3rd round.
I think we give a terrific account of ourselves, but when it really mattered, which is in that last third, that's where they probably had the cutting edge. But then again, people like Forster, and you get people coming from midfield who've cost that amount of money, you expect it, and they cause us problems, and we struggle to handle it a little bit. But so that's why they're in the division now.
The scoring inside the first minute to move on to 6 for the season. Oxford lost the league's last unbeaten record at Doncaster last week, but they had this one sewn up by half-time. Dean Whitehead scored the second with a brilliant 25-yard free kick. And when Basham added his 3rd on 41 minutes, Northampton were down and out. Oxford 3, Northampton 0.
1-0 win over Torquay was the Yellows' first midweek home league victory in 5 years.
Yeah, well, they even switched the night to change their luck. Obviously it worked, as Tim Rutten reports.
Never on a Tuesday, always on a Wednesday has the ring of a song about it. But this long-awaited midweek win was a hard day's night. The Yellows looked to be sleeping at first, then slowly but surely they stirred. The winner, the goal that finally broke the jinx, didn't look that magical. But Julian Alsop's header obviously had hidden powers. Just as well as after that, United made one amazing miss, had one amazing save, and then one amazing escape. September 98 was the last league win at home in the week, so what finally broke the spell? A different day, Ian Atkins' half-time talk, or did they put something in the tea?
I don't know. I mean, that is some record. I mean, I've just said to the players afterwards, I mean, a lot of them have actually joined the club in the summer, weren't aware of it, and we did take the local press and said just don't mention it one bit. But obviously it's the first midweek home win in the league for 6 years, and that is some incredible record. 5 years, well, some incredible record, 5, 4 or 3. So at least we've broke it now, and obviously by switching the thing to Wednesday night we can also have done the right thing.
At the county.
The jinx was broken on the night the club played their first league match on a Wednesday for a decade. Meanwhile, Swindon remain unbeaten since the start of the season. Jerome Sale looks back on last night's games.
It's goodbye losing Tuesdays and all right on a Wednesday night. This was the moment the jinx was laid to rest.
Voodoo was at the back of people's minds, but it was such an important result, and it's nice now that it's broken and we can get on to winning more midweek games.
The curse has been lifted, and so have the spirits of Oxford United supporters. The feeling is that last night's win proves the U's have turned the corner.
Oh, I think it's a tremendous relief. Going into the game, I don't think many people were actually thinking about that. The most important thing was just getting the win. But afterwards, everyone suddenly realised what it meant. I think everyone suddenly thought, well, this is it now. going up, can't be stopped.
The Spice Girls were in the charts when the Jinx started. It was stronger than girl power, but faded just as quickly.
Looked like putting a dent in those hopes. That is until super sub Jefferson Louis snatched a late equaliser to make it 1-1. They stayed fourth but lost forward Andy Scott to a broken leg. Louis for promotion. The bad news, Swindon and Cheltenham both lost out. Steve Basham was bang on target once again to keep Oxford in the playoff places. And just look at this skill. 1-0, his 7th of the season. United stay in fourth and are still unbeaten at home.
Meanwhile, in the first division, Wimbledon stay bottom after losing at Coventry. Victoria Bennett and
Jamie Brooks back at the Kassam. This was the sight Oxford United fans have been waiting for. After missing an entire season with life-threatening Guillain-Barré syndrome, he was a welcome sight. But they'll have to wait a bit longer to see him in full action. He didn't come off the bench, but the team sure could have used him. Rushden were more than a handful and pushed from the start. But there was more action than real chances, and the match was finally settled by a penalty. John Ashton chopped down Rodney Jack. There were no complaints from the United players. The bad news, 1-0 and United out of the cup. But the good news, Brooks is on his way back.
At the end, I mean, the thing would have been going to be better for us, he would have probably thrown him on. It wasn't quite right, and he was nervous to be fair, and was kicked out before the game, and just being on the bench and getting the crowd chant his name as much as anything, I mean, that's worth its weight in gold, you know what I mean? So, I'll do him the world.
Second in the table, a 4-0 away win at Bury, their best of the season. United's promotion push is really starting to take hold. The first and second were from man of the match Dean Whitehead, and at 40-1 to score, he was worth backing as he stormed twice through the Bury defence. Striker Steve Basham joined in for the final two. His 9th and 10th so far. Boss Ian Atkins was delighted. The U's are starting to look like real contenders. Can Oxford keep up the pace? And what's happened to Swindon? Plenty for football fans to talk about after last night's action, and plenty to watch now. Tim Russon reports.
Got to go some to catch up with Oxford, who are still tucked in behind the leaders in second. The Yellows won themselves a draw at York last night. They were given an own goal for starters. Then they went and lost their way as York piled in 2 goals into the right net. Second defeat of the season looked on the cards. But with 5 minutes to go, Chris Hackett came up with an equaliser.
Says he's monitoring the situation closely after chairman Firoz Kassam put the club up for sale. Enda Brady reports.
Oxford United's promotion push continued with a scoreless draw at home to Bristol Rovers this weekend. But it's what's happening off the pitch that's really making headlines. Lifelong U's fan Jim Rosenthal has revealed that he and a group of investors could rekindle their interest in taking control of United, now that chairman Firoz Kassam has said he's prepared to listen to offers. This latest development has been given a guarded welcome by Oxford fans.
Certainly he's a very high profile figure. He's well known not just in the world of football but in Formula One and rugby as well, and he is local, so yeah, he would certainly be someone that fans would consider to be an attractive proposition. But like I say, I think the important thing that fans now will think of is what he brings to the club. It's not just him, but what he's got behind him.
Any consortium hoping to buy United and the Minchinbury Farm complex would have to prove they have the financial clout to take on the day-to-day running of the club, and of course the ability to manage its debts. It remains to be seen whether Oxford-born Mr Rosenthal will become a serious contender to take over Oxford United. But with Mr Kassam reportedly determined to sell up after less than 5 years at the helm, the time is certainly right for prospective investors to register their interest.
But the U's were disappointed not to take all 3 points. And that was down to one man, Rovers keeper Alan Miller. United boss Atkins hailed this as a world-class save. But a point was...
Although it had started promisingly, Dave McGurk beginning for him what was an eventful afternoon with the opening goal just past the midway point of the first half. Oxford weren't about to surrender their unbeaten home record that easily. And Mark Rawle levelled things up 7 minutes into the second half. The U's have never failed to score against Darlington at home. But then came the first of two Quakers sendings off. Danny Mellenby fouled Oxford keeper Andy Woodman and picked up a second yellow card. It was Mellenby's second red of the season, having also been dismissed at Torquay. Dean Whitehead put Oxford ahead for the first time as Ian Atkins' side went for 3 points that would keep them in touch with the leaders. Any hopes of a Darlington comeback ended with another sending off. Remember Dave McGurk, who scored the opening goal? He also picked up a second yellow for a challenge on Chris Hackett. 5 minutes later, Paul Wanless added Oxford's third to keep them third. Darlington slipped to one off the bottom.
Ian Atkins is wanted by Southend to be their new manager. Radio Oxford will have comment on that tomorrow and commentary on the game. Do you think Oxford should do all they can to keep Ian Atkins? You can vote on the website bbc.co.uk/Oxford.
Division 3 came to an end at Colchester. Craig Fagan's deceptive in-swinger foxed everyone, but rebounded kindly for Scott McLeish. Colchester in round 2 for the first time in 6 years.
To Oxford United.
Big smiles as well.
Joanna Maley is the fairy godmother, here to promote the English National Ballet's production of Cinderella at Oxford's new theatre in a fortnight. And she may just have found 2 more performers. The Ugly Sisters, perhaps.
So what about some of the moves that Joe could show you then? Very useful on Saturday?
I don't know if be able to actually do them, to be able to do them on a Saturday. I mean, they're supple beyond belief, these ballerinas, aren't they? But it'd be nice to be able to do some of those moves.
Well, as the fairy godmother in the Cinderella performance here in Oxford, you can grant a few wishes for Oxford United, can't you?
I'm not sure if I could grant them a goal. Maybe just a trip to a ball. That's the only thing in my repertoire.
And they could go to first position in the 3rd division if they beat Cambridge and Hull.
Oxford owner Firoz Kassam has turned them away, nothing doing. Atkins is under contract to the end of the season. The bad news is the 2 men are not seeing eye to eye, and although it's no to Southend at the moment, there could be other clubs coming along, and this could well be the start of a long goodbye from Atkins.
All this news couldn't have come at a worse time, as United are sitting right on top of the 3rd division. On Saturday, they beat Macclesfield. There was a win too for Cheltenham, a draw for Swindon against the 2nd division league leaders, but yet another defeat for Wimbledon. All the action now from Erica Barnes.
No trophies, no champagne yet, but Oxford United are feeling top of the world, and the sign of a great team to come back after being hit where it hurts so early on. Macclesfield took the lead, but United took the points, the praise and the plaudits. Julian Alsop, James Hunt and Paul Wanless gave Oxford 3 goals to take them back to the top of the Division 3 table.
Moving up, Swindon are going the other way, and Wimbledon are still grounded at the bottom. All the action now from Victoria Bennett.
Despite all the off-the-pitch speculation at Oxford United about the manager's future, on the pitch it's all still going to plan. Steve Basham bang in his 11th of the season. The second from Julian Alsop brought victory at Rochdale and dreams of promotion that bit closer. There are still a few areas to tighten up, but 2-1 was the final score, and United are 1 point clear at the top of Division 3.
First of all, Chairman was quite dismissive about the interest from Southend. He said if it maybe been a 1st division or 2nd division club, he'd have looked at it, but he said Southend, there's no way you're going to Southend.
I haven't heard his comments, to be fair, so that's nice to know. I'll just start plugging for a 1st division club now.
But he said it wouldn't be a better move for you. He said you've got everything here, why would you want to go to Southend?
Well, to be fair, I've never had an option to go to Southend. At the end of the day, apparently Southend have approached the club for permission. The chairman's refused it. That's it.
So that's it as far as you're concerned?
Well, of course it is. I mean, what else can I do? I've got my contract up to the end of the season, whether I fancied it or I didn't, my contract's up to the end of the season, so we'll just continue working there. And I enjoy it with the players, it's fantastic, and we've had a terrific start to the season, so I can't say much more than that, basically.
In terms of your contract, which obviously runs out at the end of this season, he said discussions haven't really taken place, probably will towards the end of the season. He wants to keep it that way. Is that basically what's happened? Nothing has really been said?
Nothing. So basically we just get on with it. And as I said before, just continue doing my job, just staying focused on the football, and what will be, will be.
Well, this Saturday, no game. Is that a blessing in disguise, really, for you? Because you have got injuries, haven't you, in the squad?
We have. I mean, I thought we were fantastic last week against Rochdale because we had 2 changes anyway, McNiven being out and Hunter being suspended. Then Matty dropped out on Friday night, and suddenly we have to have a complete reshuffle. And to go there and win 2-1 was brilliant, and everybody played the part. It does show you that the squad this year is probably a little bit stronger than last year in certain areas, where if we would have had 2 players out at the back last year, we wouldn't have coped with it, and we wouldn't have coped with it in midfield either. So it does show you that we've got probably a little bit stronger squad this year, and it's proved that with the result we got.
I had a reserve game obviously this week. Any plans? Will there be sort of any friendlies over the weekend?
We don't know. As I said before, we've got Swindon reserves on Monday night anyway, so providing the lads work hard, then probably not.
The 3 still searching for the winning touch. All the action now from Victoria Bennett.
Top versus bottom. You'd expect Oxford to win, and they did. Even Matt Robinson got on the score sheet for his first of the season. This is a team living up to all expectations. That's 12 games unbeaten thanks to an Andy Crosby penalty. Only downside, a late disputed penalty for Carlisle. Oxford, though, are leading the way into Christmas, and it couldn't be better.
That begins with Oxford.
United boss Ian Atkins is still fuming over this one. First, there was a look of offside for Huddersfield's goal. And second, Julian Alsop sending off for this tussle. The linesman saw it as a foul on Effie Sodja, and the bench couldn't believe the colour of the card. But there's no stopping United. They're in some form. On came super sub Mark Rawle, and then came the equaliser. The unbeaten run rolls on to 12 games. A draw, though, means Oxford drop to second, but they're aiming to be back on top by the new year.
That means promotion. It's looking good. A 2-1 win over Leyton Orient keeps the Yellows in second place, a point behind the leaders. They made hard work of their Boxing Day, though. It took a penalty from Andy Crosby to bring them back after giving away an early goal. And then the winner from Julian Alsop didn't come until the very last seconds. But the big crowd of nearly 9,500 went home very, very happy.
Between York and Scotland.
They knew they're on top of the 3rd division. For the Yellows, it's been a wonderful life this Christmas. 2 games, 2 wins. Here's all the action. Boxing Day brought a bumper crowd of 9,500 to the Kassam, and United kept them on the edge of their seat to the very last few seconds, with Julian Alsop running in to hit the winner against Leyton Orient in injury time. Secret of success, of course, in any game is just doing enough to win, and true to form, the Yellows pulled out the one and only goal that was needed to win at Southend. Derek Rawle made the strike, which took the Yellows 2 points clear at the top. Arise, Ian Atkins. He's in the New Year's honours. He's the manager of the month, rightly so too. Over the last 31 days, they've won 3 out of 4 and pulled 2 points clear at the top.
They are now 2 points clear at the top of the 3rd division.
In fact, they're unbeaten in 16 league games and just 4 matches short of their best ever run. And on top of that, they've got manager of the month as well, Tim Usmith.
When you're winning, when you're on top, you're the best man in town. For Ian Atkins, these are great days. Nights are good too. Under the bright lights of Swansea, Atkins and his men once again prove they're the team that few can match, few can master. But believe it or not, the manager's job is easy. The secret, simple.
Winning is everything. I mean, you get people say we play football the right way and tactics will come into it. Playing football the right way is winning. And then it's probably more a big show than sometimes performances, although our performances this year I think have been fantastic.
Is it the best job in the world?
Of course it is. Play for something you enjoy, and people say about pressures, the pressures of management in the Premier League. But even at this level, I'm paid with something that I thoroughly enjoy. And it's always been a privilege playing. I always enjoyed playing. It's a privilege managing. There's only 92 clubs in the Football League.
Along the road to the top of the table, Atkins has had his problems. He's had his fallouts with the chairman. He's had to work hard to win the fans over. But right now, the manager is king.
He's a good manager, yeah. He's got us going really well. He's turned the club around. I can't criticise the bloke, one defeat in 24, 25 matches.
Says it all this season.
Excellent, excellent. He's probably the best manager I've had for a long, long time. We've just got to hope that we can continue it. We know we're in a very strong league, and you come into Swansea United to be 12 points ahead of us at this stage is massive compared to the players that they've got. So, awful long way to go yet, and we've just got to try and win as many games as quickly as we can and keep trying to stretch our legs.
New Year's resolution?
Me? I don't know, really. Probably, I don't know. I'll just keep winning.
Better reception in the city today. Last night, in the team's first match of the new year, they survived a tough game at Swansea. The goalless draw another boost to their promotion hopes. Jerome Sale reports.
Things are looking up for the Oxford United manager, top of the league after a record-breaking start to the season, and now he's manager of the month. The prize is often seen as a poisoned chalice, but the latest winner doesn't agree.
The problem with the low leagues is consistency, and then trying to get them to do it the following month. And that's why I think that people say there's a curse. But hopefully in our case, we have shown an awful lot of consistency this year. And I've always said if anybody beats us, or anybody gets a point against us, it's because they've deserved it.
The boss says he's merely the lighthouse shining the way for a talented squad. In fact, the stubborn display at Swansea demonstrated the resolve of Atkins' players. They've simply refused to lose in the last 16 matches. They soaked up the Swansea pressure and managed to put together decent attacks of their own. And they doubled their lead at the top of the third division, proving their confidence is still sky high.
We are very, very difficult to beat, but we're also very, very good at going forward as well and creating stuff to get our own chances at the other end. And we've done it exceptionally well so far this year. We've just got to try and keep it going.
Ian Atkins feels that last night's result proves that the Manager of the Month award isn't a poisoned chalice. But he also believes that his team is strong enough this season to hurdle almost any obstacle, even the odd curse or two. Jerome Sale, BBC South Today in Oxford.
Bang-in form Lincoln City. Victoria Bennett has the story.
2004 could and should be the year for Oxford United. Top of the table, unbeaten in the league in 16 matches and still yet to lose here at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford!
I've been going for a long time, and it's best. I've never seen us have a run like this.
United!
Grinding out results, top of the table, 2 clear. What more can you say?
This is a club breaking records and aiming to bring back the glory days.
We've only lost 1 game out of 25, and that's a club record easily at the moment. If we get fewer than 3 defeats in the season, that's an all-time league record for any division, 46-game season.
Visitors Lincoln City are also strong promotion contenders, but they travelled without manager Keith Alexander. While his close pal United boss Ian Atkins has been celebrating his Manager of the Month award, the City manager is off the sidelines while he recovers from brain surgery.
Shows you how quickly life can change, and football sometimes, and looking as pathetic, doesn't mean as much as what people make it out to be. But he's on his way to recovery, and obviously we don't want his recovery to slip much, but hopefully we'll get 3 points on Saturday.
When these two teams met on the opening day, it was Oxford who took the points. Now they're the top 2 defences in the division, so this was always going to be a close encounter. Jefferson Louis just missing out. But Lincoln under caretaker manager Gary Simpson are continuing their good form and made it a tough match. Mark Bailey connected, but his shot flew over the bar. In the second half, it was more of the same. A great run from Gary Fletcher, but the finish wasn't there. Overall, though, it was Oxford who had the best of the chances. New loan signing Richie Foran from Carlisle was denied by the post. And then there were calls for a penalty when Scott McNiven felt he was pulled down in the box. The ref, though, disagreed. Dean Whitehead nearly grabbed the winner for United, but for Alan Marriott in the Lincoln goal. 0-0 the final score. Lincoln, though, are only the 3rd team this season to take a point away from the Kassam.
The last 15 minutes he put us under some pressure, which you know you're going to expect that here. But yeah, I thought we probably shaded it the first half, and they shaded it the second half.
First 5 minutes we could have had 3 goals, and then probably in the last 15 when I brought the subs on, we had our chances again. So overall, we probably should have won. But I think a result, a draw is a fair result.
Still struggling. All the goals, all the action from Victoria Bennett.
Oxford United's trip to Hull City was tipped as a title decider, but to United's disappointment, it was the home side who came out on top in the battle between the 3rd division leaders. Defeat means United lost the #1 spot to Hull, and it also ended their run of 17 matches unbeaten. Manager Ian Atkins blamed the defeat on 10 mad minutes, which saw Hull take a 3-0 lead. The 4-2 scoreline hides the commitment of United's players. Never giving up, Steve Basham pulled one back. Only though for United to suffer a final blow. Andy Crosby, under pressure, headed into his own goal. Matt Bound added a second from a late free kick, but United ran out of time for any more and dropped to third.
Have held up training, but it hasn't halted the ambition. OK, so they've dropped to 4th place in the 3rd division, but victory in tomorrow's game against Kidderminster will send the temperatures soaring at the Kassam.
Second half of the season, it's a lot harder to win than what it was to me in the first half, because people and players look at tables, they see the end of the season coming, you're nearly at the finishing post. It's just about being consistent, and some days you'll win, some days you won't, some days you'll draw, some you won't. And providing you know the points total that you want to go for, then no matter what order they come in, you'd like it to come as quick as possible. But if it doesn't, you just stick in there.
Oxford United stay in 3rd. Steve Basham was back on the score sheet and back to his best to claim the opener. But it was a game manager Ian Atkins thought shouldn't have even been played. Fierce winds made it hard going and gave Kidderminster a helping hand for their equaliser. The wind took its toll and a loose piece of stand delayed the start of the second half, but Paul McCarthy beat the weather to net the winner.
At Orient, Gary Alexander once of Swindon with the only goal. Jerome Sale, BBC South Today.
3-2 at the Kassam Stadium.
Yeah, you can hear those cheers. They remain in 3rd place in the 3rd division, but just 3 points off top spot. Erica Barnes has the action.
Big hug. Oxford United love each other very much, especially after the way they beat Scunthorpe last night.
We've looked on the fixtures, we think that's going to be one of the hardest games we're going to play. Scunthorpe are a quality team, quality players, and they're going to make it a battle. But I thought the boys showed a lot of character, you know.
Attack, attack, attack was the message and the mission. United played 3 up front and it paid off. While they were testing the much-debated offside rule, Paul Wanless was testing the Scunthorpe keeper.
I needed that goal, to be perfectly honest. It was a great ball by Robbo, and all I had to do was get him head on the end of it, really, and it was pleasing for us. We needed that start, and I thought we started fantastic.
More opportunities came and went until Mark Rawl knocked home this one. But just when United thought the game was won, Scunthorpe came back with 2 of their own. Steve Torpey sensed there was a point to be made. But there's steel and commitment in the United side, and appropriately enough it was Lee Steele who snatched the win, the points and the plaudits. And dare I mention promotion?
No, don't mention that word. Don't mention that. It's too many games to go. I mean, you know, weren't long ago we were top of the league. We're not no more. So, you know, we're just looking at 4th place at this moment in time. A few more wins and hopefully we'll be there.
Home games are very important for the lads who hadn't been in the team to give good performances, and they certainly did.
16 home league games without defeat is Oxford's best for 9 years. Jerome Sale, BBC South Today.
Disappointment though for Oxford United. They went down to 1 scrappy goal at Yeovil. That's 3 defeats in a row on the road, but there's nothing to panic about. Yeovil's keeper pulled off some stunning saves to take the game. United stay in 3rd and they're not about to let automatic promotion slip away.
Cycled this free kick. Terry Dunfield's goal was simplicity itself. But Oxford clawed themselves back into the match 2 minutes later. Julian Alsop with the knockdown, Dean Whitehead with the stunning volley.
The abuse directed at him from United fans after the team fell to a late equaliser at Bristol Rovers on Saturday. Supporters were critical of substitutions he made during the game. Jerome Sale rounds up the action.
Oxford know they should have beaten Bristol Rovers after making their mark through Mark Rawl's opener. The scrambled equaliser 7 minutes from time, leading to a falling out between some United fans and boss Ian Atkins.
Gone off the boil, no goals and just 1 point for all their efforts last night at the Kassam. The bar, the post, the York keeper just kept them out. They stay in 3rd place in the 3rd division.
Home run was ended by F.A. Sodje's powerful header from a first half corner.
You've lost 2-0 to bottom of the table Carlisle. They've had an amazing turnaround in form. Even the cameraman couldn't keep up with their second goal. But United down to 4.
Has denied rumours that he's set to leave the club for Bristol Rovers. It had been reported that Rovers were to make an announcement tomorrow on their new manager after months of speculation, with Atkins being the likely candidate. But tonight Atkins said he won't be going and still has a job to do getting United promoted.
And the news about Ian Atkins follows the morale-boosting derby win for Oxford over Cheltenham last night.
But as with all derbies, it wasn't without controversy. A hotly disputed penalty giving the Atkins men a 1-0 win. Ben Darty has the action.
Keep your eyes peeled for this one. The crowd missed it, both benches missed it, and most of the players missed it too. But the most important man on the pitch, the referee, didn't. Penalty. He'd spotted a push on United captain Andy Crosby. Watch this again. It's hard to spot, but in the jostling for places, Crosby goes down, and he says it was a foul.
Keeper pushed me in the back. So it took a long time for them to stop mowing back, really, and a little bit of pressure on. But thankfully I stuck it away, and it's 3 valuable points for us.
From then on, United had the best of the game, but Shane Higgs pulled off some great saves for the Robins. In the end, the controversial penalty settled the game. It was disappointment for the Robins and delight for United.
The game was fine. The decision that cost us a penalty was frustrating. I think that if you're looking at that, I'll be delighted to see your copy of that and pinpoint the exact one and no other infringement in the box at all.
You see that so many times in football at all levels that referees aren't brave enough to give it. And he's been brave enough to give it tonight. Fair play to him. If he's seen it, he's give it.
Supporters after United's win over Cheltenham, he has to look after his own interests, but we understand any move is not imminent.
Manager of Bristol Rovers from the start of next season. It looks as though he may stay with Oxford United until the end of this season, and we'll have a report for you in just a few moments. But first, to our chairman to leave Oxford United. Here's Erica Barnes.
He was out training with the troops this morning, at his desk this afternoon, and he'll be on the touchline at Mansfield tomorrow. But Ian Atkins will not be leading Oxford United into next season's campaign, be it in the 2nd or 3rd division. He's off to Bristol Rovers as manager when his contract at United expires in the summer. Until then, he and 4th place Oxford still have promotion on their minds.
Bristol Rovers issued a press statement which said that Ian Atkins would be joining them as manager, but he does point out that he's agreed to stay at Oxford until the end of the season. So it looks as though he'll see the season now with Oxford United, hopefully take them to the playoffs, get them promotion, but then he will leave.
Okay, Tim, thank you very much.
Let's take over there from the start of next season. Atkins' contract at the Kassam Stadium expires in the summer. According to Rovers, he's agreed a 2-year deal at the Memorial Stadium. United chairman Feroz Kassam described the announcement as news to him.
He's been suspended by the club following news of his appointment as the new manager of Bristol Rovers from the start of next season. Atkins had got 7 weeks left to run on his United contract, but the club want to take the weekend.
It's a turn of the managerial roundabout at Oxford United.
Yes, who's out, who's in, Victoria?
Well, I tell you, it has been a busy day at the Kassam Stadium. Manager Ian Atkins remains suspended for the time being, and Graham Rix has been appointed as the caretaker boss on a day-by-day basis. I'm sure it's not the end of the story, but the club are hoping this move will allow the team to concentrate on their promotion hopes.
The revolving door at the Kassam Stadium was in full swing today as the new boss arrived for talks. Chairman Feroz Kassam acted quickly to ensure stability by announcing Graham Rix as the caretaker manager.
I have decided, after having a brief meeting with Graham this morning, to bring him on board in a temporary position.
Rix enjoyed 13 years as a top midfielder with Arsenal before leaving to play in France. 2 years later, he returned to the UK as a Dundee player before joining Chelsea's coaching staff in 1994. Success there earned him his first managership at Portsmouth, but a bad first season cost him his job, and he's recently been scouting for Watford. There's been controversy too. In 1999, he was jailed for underage sex with a 15-year-old and had to put his career on hold for 2 years. After his first training session today, he's setting his sights on success with United.
I'm living for the moment. I'm really looking forward to Saturday's game. Obviously, if we win 5-0 on Saturday, it won't do me any harm whatsoever. But I'm going to give it my best shot. Why not?
As for the fans, well, mixed views.
Obviously, he's got some personal baggage that you might be bringing with him. But in the footballing sense, I think people give him the benefit of the doubt, yeah.
Suspended manager Ian Atkins did turn up this morning but was asked to leave while the club investigate his deal to join Bristol Rovers next season. They say he's agreed a 2-year contract. Atkins is believed to have denied signing anything. Back at Oxford, the players are working for promotion. Off the pitch, United have reported Bristol Rovers to the Football League.
Or change.
For our Formula One teams, David Hayward has the roundup of the action.
While speculation surrounded Oxford United off the pitch, the gale force conditions put paid to any sort of real action on it. The used match at Mansfield was called off at half-time when it became apparent the wind was simply too strong.
He has done a good job. He's got to think about his future, and Oxford have got to think about theirs.
Ian Atkins has declined to comment on the situation. Although he recently said he wants to manage Oxford to promotion, that opportunity appears to have passed on, along with his job. Jackie Bartley, BBC South Today.
They have stopped in December. Ian Atkins was manager of the month. Oxford United were top of the table. Now the alarms are all going off. Can Graham Rix wind the Yellows back up again? Will they strike some of that old form? Tomorrow it's league leaders Doncaster Rovers at home.
They're top of the league for the simple fact, they've been the best team this season so far. So we know it's going to be a tough game. We've got nothing to fear. We've got a great bunch of lads here. We're not bad ourselves. We're up there for a reason.
It's really likely that Oxford will have to settle for a playoff spot. Lincoln, Mansfield and Northampton could join them.
New boss Graham Rix sent out a new look Oxford United against third division leaders Doncaster, and all were out to impress. But it was debut keeper Simon Cox who was the man of the match.
Couldn't ask for any better, really. Clean sheet. That's what last year I dreamt about that, coming on, making my debut and doing this, and it's happening. So I thought I would be, a rough and nervous, but I wasn't. I enjoyed it. I haven't enjoyed a game in a while, so it was good. It was brilliant.
But obviously I'm pleased. He's worked.
Town United were 5-4 on to win at Northampton. They were third favourites for promotion at the start of the season, but the going is proving tough. Steve Basham set them up for a win on Saturday, but if you like a flutter, you've a better chance of winning the lottery than predicting United's fate right now. Northampton are one of the teams coming up on the rails with a late run. They showed their finishing power with 2 goals in 10 minutes of the second half. United down to 6.
Mansfield made its serious dent in their hopes. The Youths have now won only 1 game in their last 10 and are running out of time. Jana Nosko reports.
Only a matter of weeks ago, promotion seemed like a certainty. Now Oxford United's hopes of second division football next season are starting to fade. 2 defeats in a row, this time at playoff rivals Mansfield, saw the team swap places in the division, with United dropping to 6th. An automatic spot may now be beyond them, but they need to make sure of the playoffs. This cracker from Dean Whitehead should have started a comeback, but it ended 3-1 to Mansfield. It's been an unsettling time for the U's and caretaker.
Easter weekend is crunch time to make sure they don't repeat last year's disappointment and drop out of the playoffs right at the very end. They face a revived Boston at the Casam tomorrow, but no one is panicking yet.
2004 has seen United drop from promotion certainties to playoff hopefuls. So what's gone wrong? Is it the change in manager? Under Ian Atkins, the U's were unbeaten for 17 games. So the new boss Graham Rix has lost 2 of his first 3. He's changed the team and the style of play, but the fans are sticking by him with or without the postal strike.
Things started going wrong before the new manager came in, to be fair.
The longer he's here, the better it will get. But whether we've got enough time, we'll wait and see at the end of the season.
Well, passing football is what they want to watch, but will it get them promotion?
We do need a win to give the lads that extra bit of belief, that extra bit of confidence that what we are trying to do is the right thing to do. We just need 1 win to kickstart us again. We've got 6 games left, and every game's massive. But if, for example, we beat Boston, we've got another game on Monday against Torquay. You win that one, which is a big game again. All of a sudden, things look a lot brighter. We're playing good football and winning the games, and there's no reason why we can't get automatic promotion.
But with just 6 games to go, the Youths have dropped to 7th. They are still only 4 points off 3rd, although they played a game more. And after the Easter weekend, their 4 remaining fixtures, Darlington, Cambridge, Macclesfield and Rochdale, could all be battling for points in the fight for survival. To have any chance, United need more of this and less of this.
Gloucester have United 1 win in 12 games now and a real prospect of not being promoted. That's leading to a huge amount of unrest on the terraces, and my sources tell me in the dressing room too. This all stems from the departure of Ian Atkins as manager, of course. He's currently under suspension and may be going to Bristol Rovers. But I've learnt today that some of the players are so unhappy, they're planning a revolt. Quite simply, they want him back in charge before it's too late and they miss out on promotion. United haven't won under caretaker boss Graham Rix. They've dropped to 7th and there's just 4 games left. So now they want a meeting with Chairman Firoz Kassam to ask whether Atkins can be reinstated. Now, no word tonight from the club, so really just watch his space. And of course, well,
United's day out at the Seaside couldn't have been worse. A 3-0 defeat at Torquay started with an own goal for 4-1-less. Then captain Andy Crosby was sent off for pulling back Joe Kuffour. There were 4 changes from Friday's team, reverting back to more senior faces, but it couldn't bring change to their recent form. 2 more goals for Torquay just about guaranteed their playoff spot, while the U's don't look capable of hanging on to theirs. United stay in 7th, but Northampton are the danger team, just 2 points behind with a game in hand. The playoffs.
Early this week, Central News exclusively revealed a possible player revolt against the new caretaker manager Graham Rix.
Tonight, although our sources in the dressing room say that is still the case, the boss is denying a rift. Victoria Bennett has been to meet him.
With just 2 points from a possible 15, United manager Graham Rix is under pressure. So far, he's failed to stop the U's recent bad form, but he says he's still got the support of the dressing room.
I actually spoke to the boys today about it and said if anybody said that, if it's come from a player, then please be brave enough to come and see me and explain your situation. No one has. The players are as devastated as I am the way it's gone. And in fact, about 4 or 5 of them came up to me after the match against Torquay and said, sorry Gaffer, we let you down, it's not your fault. So if that's not been on my side and understanding where I'm coming from, then I don't know what is.
He's yet to get a win since taking over from Ian Atkins, who was suspended amid reports that he was due to join Bristol Rovers at the end of the season. Just weeks ago, United were challenging for automatic promotion after going 17 games unbeaten, but now they've won 1 in the last 11. They're hanging on to the final playoff place, and frustration has been growing in and around the club that a season's hard work could be wasted at the final hurdle. But despite all the problems, Graham Rix is sticking with the club.
It's a long-term job, and despite what people think, I'm doing it as if I'm going to be here for the next 10 years. I can understand the frustration of the fans. I can assure you that the players and myself are just as frustrated and fed up. We want nothing more than to win and get automatic promotion, never mind in the playoffs. But as each game slips by, it's getting more and more difficult. But what do? Do we wither and just pack in, or do we say, no, come on, we're going to keep working and wait till it comes right?
Just 4 games to go. It'll need to come right quickly to stay in the hunt for promotion, starting with Darlington on Saturday.
Out for our promotion hunting teams. A win for Swindon means they're still looking at possible automatic promotion, but Oxford United's playoff hopes are nearly gone, and that's where we start our roundup.
Defeat for Oxford United, this time 2-0 away at Darlington, means the Sharks are circling. If Northampton and Yeovil win their games in hand this week, United could all drop out of the playoff places. Who's to blame? The fans are divided.
A lot of people blame him for the current form. He came in, started mucking around with formations and with tactics, and they point to him as being the reason for sort of recent decline. A lot of fans point out that the run of results started before Rix came in, that Rix is working with players who aren't his, who are used to playing a different system, and say that, you know, even whoever it was that came in to replace Ian Atkins would have had the same problems.
Oxford make it into the playoffs?
Of course we can. I mean, I'm an optimistic guy and a positive fella, and we need a win. But I've been saying that for a few weeks now, but I think if we can win our last 3 games, I think we'll be there.
And do you think the chairman has given you that get-out clause by saying, if we don't go up, it's down to him, not down to you?
I thought that was very brave of him to say that, and I respect what he said. Basham's very doubtful, Steele's very doubtful. So all of a sudden, you know, we're a little bit short. So we've got a little bit of shuffling to do for Saturday, but I'm sure whatever side I put out there, they'll give 100% and try and win the game.
Now it's against Cambridge, they're towards the bottom of the table, they're pretty safe. Good times are you playing them?
Well, yeah, but when you've had the run that we've had for the last 12 or 13 games, then you know you don't. It's difficult every single match. They're a good passing side, Cambridge, and it'll be a tough game for us. But I think if we apply ourselves and cut out the unforced errors that we've been making recently, then there's no reason why we shouldn't get 3 points.
Well, Graham, best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations.
We went a long way under Ian, but personally I have to say the football that we played was not entertaining enough for me, and I am sure to a lot of my supporters it was the same. We got the points, we were higher up in the table, but supporters come to a game to be entertained, and I don't believe we got enough entertainment. My discussions with Graham have been, it's not just entertaining football that I want results as well.
For Oxford United against Cambridge. The U's bid for promotion is all but over, but Paul McCarthy's equaliser restored the faith in a fight back. United weren't to be outplayed, a great header from Jefferson Louis gave them the lead. But to give it away a minute later, unforgivable. A 2-2 draw means the playoffs are now out of their hands. 2 games to go and they'll need Yeovil and Northampton to both slip up.
They're now out of the playoffs. They've scored the biggest own goal of the season.
It's all over for Oxford United. Any hopes of promotion were ended in bizarre fashion at Macclesfield. United scored all the goals in the 2-1 defeat. This the first own goal from John Ashton. And it just sums up their recent troubles. They've missed out on the playoffs again and have gone from being top to one of the worst performing teams in the division.
I'm fed up of coming on TV and speaking to the press and saying it's the same old mistakes and lack of concentration, poor defending. I'm fed up of saying it. It's difficult for me to explain because I came in with 9 games to go and they're already on the slide. There's no doubt about that. You know, we've missed our chance again. We've got to make sure it doesn't happen next year.
Oxford started the season under Ian Atkins unbeaten, and his record should have been good enough for promotion. Since the first 3 games, they've never been out of the top 4. But late replacement boss Graham Ricks has still yet to win one, and now the playoff dream is over.
Victories can sometimes mask a lot of things that are going wrong, and you know, although you might be winning games, things might not be as good as people think. I mean, we're starting afresh now.
Only James Hunt's equaliser offered some hope for the future. Jefferson Louis was the unlucky player to give Macclesfield the winner, making it another season in Division 3 for the U's.
New manager Graham Ricks. Small consolation for missing out on a playoff spot, but Steve Basham's goal, partnered by Dean Whitehead's header, gave their fans a good send-off.
Hanging on to 6th place despite that defeat. At the